Hi guys, it's Oli from RADSEASON. I'm stoked to be joined today by event organizer, designer, and founder of Simple Session, Risto Kalmre. Risto, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Hey, and whereabouts are you at the moment, dude?
I'm actually at my home in Tallinn.
And what's the situation like, man, with everything going on in Estonia? What's it been like?
You mean the famous coronavirus situation, or otherwise?
The famous one.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty okay for a long time. In the summer, there was almost no infections, or not so many infections. Now, when the school year started and people went back to work, then the infection rate is starting to go up again, but it's still. I think there's only a few people in the hospital and no persons on the breathing machines. So I think most young people have got it now. But I mean, it's pretty. All the restaurants are open. Events are still taking place. Not like huge events in terms of indoor. I mean, even huge one. Just last weekend there was a VRC rally event, which was a pretty huge deal for Estonia, because the first time ever we got like the official VRC rally going on. I mean, they took a lot of precautions. The audience was divided up, and all the athletes, all the rally drivers were arriving early and kept separate. But yeah, it was a big event. There was thousands and thousands of people. So.
Wow, I'm surprised they had it on. I mean, so you guys, you had your 20th anniversary of Simple Session just before this all started, right? I mean, that was February.
Yeah, that was beginning of February, or the first week of February. We were super lucky. They just got everything done in pretty much how we wanted, and it went super well. And like a month later, everything was shut down pretty much. So but yeah, when we were on, then something was already going on in the world, but no one really had any restrictions in place, or no one knew that it's gonna be. So yeah, I think we're pretty much the only big event in action sports world that kind of took place in 2020.
Make it happen. It's crazy. I'd love to get back to that. And I mean, if you're right, I mean, how did this all start? I mean, growing up in Estonia, I guess in the sort of in the 80s and 90s. I mean, the whole the BMX scene and skate scene presumably wasn't that large. And where did it begin for you?
I mean, I don't know that much about 80s because I was so young at the 80s, but I heard that actually. I mean, we did a magazine back in the day, and we did some interviews with people who already skated in the 80s, but that was more like slalom skating and stuff like that. But yeah, I started riding in the late 90s. I think if you compare it to the rest of the world, then that we were so far behind that maybe it was the 80s for the rest of the world. There was no scene. There was pretty much maybe 10 skaters and just a few BMX riders. So it was just we kind of invented the sports for ourselves. It was also before the internet. I mean, there was internet, of course, but there wasn't really YouTube or anything like that. So
yeah.
So we just bought some VHS tapes and watched how to do tricks. And it was very slow in the beginning because you need other people to ride who are better than you, and to progress and then see what's up. So the beginning was very slow, but I think that was pretty much one of the reasons we wanted to start with the event, because we wanted the people to come over and see what's possible to do on those boards and bikes, and that's why we kind of since we didn't have anything, we wanted people to come and show us in a way.
And where did you grow up? Was that outside the city, or?
No, it was another city. It's the second largest city in Estonia, Tartu, which is in the south.
Okay.
And that's actually where, I mean, in Estonian terms, it's city, but I guess in other bigger countries' terms, it's a town, because it's like 100,000 people, and it's kind of a university town. It's very nice, actually. and we did the first skate park there and the first event there. So it was just like I think it was like 17 when we did the first event, and then we moved Tallinn like 4 years later. But first 4 years we put on the event in Tartu. It was an outdoor event and like kind of a big festival.
And how did you guys start the skate park? I mean, was that sort of convincing the local government and the council to put some money towards it, or?
Yeah, I mean, there was one park before that, but that was like it was just like a empty parking lot with like some shitty ramps, and then we rode that for a few years, and that was, we start to realize this is not really a proper skate park. We need something better. And actually my father kind of helped to get us a meeting let me shut down my email so it doesn't peep. To get a meeting at the city council, or like actually it was even a meeting with the mayor, or a major in English, and they were into it, so they gave us the money for the ground, for a space and to put asphalt on the ground. And then we ourselves got as like we found sponsors for the ramps. But first year we brought the old ramps from the old skate park and then pretty much built like one or two more. I think I actually built a big wear trap, and then we didn't have much more money, so we just but the next year we built more ramps and more ramps. So that skate park actually still exists. It has been renovated a couple of times. It's
okay, cool.
But it's one of the biggest parks still in Estonia. So yeah, and the first event was the opening event for that skate park. So the first event actually wasn't called Simple Session, but one after we called it Simple Session.
And did you combine BMX and skating back then as well, or is that something that evolved?
No, it was definitely there was even more stuff, because there was, like I said, there was just like maybe 10 or 20 skaters and 5 BMX riders. So there was you couldn't, there was already in the first event, there was Latvians coming over and Finnish skaters and stuff like that. But all the people rode together in the skate park. So I was friends with a lot of skaters. I rode BMX back then mostly, but was some friends with a lot of skaters. And so it was skateboarding, BMX, and also inline skating the first few years. So there was like dirt jumps and live bands. So it was like a kind of an urban festival. Yeah.
Awesome. And so then that went on for 4 years, and you thought, okay, we'll try and move it over to Tallinn. And did you move with it then, or like what happened?
Yeah, it was 2004. I already went to university in Tallinn during that time, and actually Saku Arena approached us they said if you want to do event in Saku Arena in the winter time. At first we were like, what the fuck, you're not gonna do a skateboarding event in Estonian winter. And the winters back then was a little different. They were really harsh compared to now when they were pretty soft. But we just let's give it a go, and we rented the arena, and that was the first time we built a dedicated, like a original park for just the event, because before that it was an existing skate park. And it went well, and then just we kind of continued that. It was one of those boosts for the event as well, because then a lot more international riders came over, because the calendar in January is much more free than all the athletes have so many events in the summertime.
Yeah,
and we weren't that known back then, so that was one of the things that helped it to grow in the beginning, because it was off-season event, for
and who was helping you put it together? So was it yourself and your brother, or like is there any other people involved at those early days?
Yeah, there's many people. Me and my brother have been constant, of course. Then there's Piret, one girl who is still doing it with us. there's been like so many people, I mean, not all of them are still involved with the event, but Tanel helped to put the skateboarding side and Karel, and I mean, you don't know those people, but but there's been like, some people have been organizing it for 5 years, some 10 years, some like me and my brother and Piret for 20 years, but it's been a mixed crowd, different years,
Yeah. And do you think, I mean, like having it in the winter and sort of like having that calendar freed up for a lot of the athletes who would be traveling normally in summertime in Europe and in North America, that and the fact that like the event was just sort of growing, word was spreading, do you think that was then like one of the factors of more people just wanting to get involved and wanted to make sure that they're coming back year on year?
You mean like that we were in the winter time?
Yeah, it was winter, and then it was just gaining momentum, right? So, like, presumably, it was just getting bigger.
I mean, there was many things. I think. I mean, one thing was it was kind of a exotic place for many people. No one, most of the people had not been there. Of course, the Finnish skaters and Latvian. The neighboring countries visitors, of course, it wasn't the first time, but for a lot of people, if you get in touch, like, you come to Estonia for a skateboarding event, they were like, wow, like this was kind of an exotic thing. And then when they came, of course, they were stoked and let their friends know. So it was a lot of word of mouth thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, since early on, we pretty much pushed the media side and ask a lot of photographers and then videographers and journalists over. So I think we maybe did a little bit more than some other events had to do when when you are happening in Paris or Los Angeles, then you're already in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So I think we worked like a little bit more than some other events in terms of coverage, because we needed it, because we didn't have any BMX magazines here, or even if we had, they were very small, and I think one other thing, I think we started the webcast really early. The first webcast we did, I think it was 2006 already or something like that. So
okay, wow.
Yeah, during that time there wasn't any. I mean, there was some. I think there was some Maloof money skateboarding event was happening and did something, but it was nothing like these days, where almost all the events are doing webcasts or broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the thing that kind of helped to put it on the map as well, because everyone could see. That was before we had Red Bull TV or anything like that. We just did it our own, but yeah, we started quite early. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So and that would be like around the early sort of time of social media as well, right? So with this is all pre-Instagram and Facebook is just almost just started, right?
Yeah, that was pretty much still a magazine era,
Yeah.
or like, no, there was still
with real pages instead of just flicking through.
Yeah. I mean, of course there was websites and already websites and already videos, but it was still more web 1.0, or there wasn't so much. Facebook had just started, but the early Facebook wasn't really really some it was something else than it's these days. So yeah, since the event is pretty old already, so we kind of lived different eras of promotion and how do you do stuff. So
yeah. And back then, was that sort of then getting in contact with all the BMX and skateboard magazines in Europe and in the US? Was that sort of, so would you reach out to, were you in contact with all the media sort of within the industry?
Yeah.
We
did it. I mean, we've been working with almost like most magazines, like in BMX, like Deek BMX and Ride UK,
mm-hmm.
and in skateboarding Transworld. And I mean, some of the magazines don't even exist anymore, or they're like kind of transferred to some other entity. But it's been like a combination of pushing the stuff from our side, the media and the webcast, and just making sure the event is fun for all the riders, and then it's just then like the word of mouth pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, cool, man. And what are the challenges been over the last 20 years? I mean, sort of going through these phases of the popularity of the sports. I mean, what sort of stood out as kind of something, that's pretty difficult?
Actually, I just did a lecture yesterday, and they asked the same question, so I should know what to answer. I mean, one of the thing, I just did a lecture in a one university for event marketing. So
okay, cool.
But I mean, every year there's something happen. I don't know. If you do event, then there's so many different factors in. Then every year something happens, but it's maybe so small that no one actually in the audience or riders knows it. But one of the thing, and I think it's more and more these days now with the coronavirus, is the of course the airlines and the flight connections. If you're hosting 200 athletes and their friends and team managers and stuff, and then usually and Estonia is not so well connected in the airline department, so there's not so many direct connections. So there's lots of transfers and stuff. So there's been like snowstorm in Frankfurt, or I don't know, in somewhere in the US, and then there's 20 bikes missing, or 20 guys to have their flights changed or whatever, rescheduled. So that's it can seem as a not so big thing, but for us it's a lot of, because work calling up airlines, it's a long process to deal with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like something from this year that was like stressful. I think it's pretty much the only time we didn't finish the skate park on time. In the SAC arena, we have like around 4 or 5 days to assemble and build the skate park. And our skate park is like, we go pretty crazy with it. We do like original design and really like go full on. Like Nate Vessel is, we're not putting any restrictions, and Nate Vessel goes pretty crazy with design. So it's a lot of work, and this year we didn't finish it on time, so we had to reschedule all the filmings, and had to film at night, and then usually the obstacles are with the logistics. Is it time issue or stuff like that? But it's been. I have to really think about it more, because it's like 20 years. Like I said, like
it's a while, huh?
Yeah. Some all kinds of stuff happens. People are, the crowd is pretty wild. The parties are wild. Sometimes some people end up in jail, and then we kind of help them out, or there's something other wild stuff happening at the parties, or that's always part of the event. So it's a big festival. So
yeah. It keeps it interesting, that's for sure. And then, like looking back, I mean, any sort of fond or favorite moments? I mean, it's almost from sort of word of mouth that the parties are sometimes a little bit more legendary than the actual competition itself. But are there any sort of like moments that you'd say that were like particular highlights?
It's kind of hard question to answer as well, because it's been like, I'm doing it almost half my life, so it's I could count them a lot, but for me it's really intense period as well, because we have a small, I mean, there's a lot of people working at the event, but the core team is pretty small. So it's just like I'm just in full organizing mode, just like I have a red light somewhere beeping, and just like going full in. So there's not so much time to like sit back and enjoy. I'm enjoying the process, but then there's not so much time to chill out, And I would like to just to come and watch it as a spectator.
just sit there in the crowd and have a beer. And,
yeah. But I mean, there's so many moments. I mean, I pretty much had all the riders and skaters that I wanted to have there. There's almost all the big names that exist have been coming there. So hosting all those riders that I had posters on the wall when I was younger, and when for me the satisfaction when just stuff comes together, when no one gets hurt, when all the when I feel. I mean, I think one of the best, like if I really pick like moments, is when you know our hosts like Daryl or whoever we have at that year for skateboarding, or Dave Duncan, or they're kind of hyping up the crowd, and the just crowd is like really roaring, and you feel the goosebumps, and you like the energy of the arena is something that's been said is like one of the most unique things at Simple Session. Is kind of something else that some other events. So to feel that, and then you kind of feel a little bit proud that okay, this it finally it's on, and it's it's happening, and then riders pulling world's first tricks, or just going nuts, and then that then is the time I can enjoy a little bit and watch the event, or
Cool.
or the after parties when you can have beer with some of the friends.
Would you say that sort of kept you going, like, and wanting to do it year on year?
Yeah, that's definitely, just some people just coming up to me and saying thank you for doing it, and some people have been coming back for years and years, or even 10 years or more. So just seeing people's faces, and knowing that have that we have put Estonia on the map, or just that we have some people have started riding, because a lot of people actually have started riding because of Simple Session, that they've seen it on TV, or being there, or just getting feedback and emotions. That's because when the event is over, then I'm like, I need like quite a few weeks to just chill out, because it's an intense work. But I think every like a bigger event organizers, it's a like similar thing. It's just kind of builds up, and then everything has to happen during those few days, So it's kind of it's a kind of culmination.
And when the event finishes, so you kind of have a couple of weeks to almost like have a break, right? And then would you go straight back into planning for the next year, and like looking at dates and trying to almost get the initial organizing?
I mean, we like at least the past years we already had a date for next year.
Okay.
We actually advertised the date for next year for during the event.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, usually we have couple of weeks to do all the recaps and getting the numbers and analysis, and getting the coverage out there, and talking to sponsors and partners. So there's quite a long time to still work with the event that just happened. And I mean, even just getting the skate park together again, and stuff like that. So, and then I usually then I took a vacation usually, and I don't really do I go traveling or something, and then later in the spring we start working on, is it next year's event, or some years we've done summer events as well, simple summer sessions. So either that, or I have some pretty much I have other projects as well. So yeah.
And now, I guess, next year, what are you guys looking at trying to do, and trying to make that happen for next February for Simple Session 21?
Yeah, we actually had a meeting today in the morning about it. I mean, we've been like talking about it a long time, of course. So I don't know how much I want to say, because right now, pretty much there's a lot of options on the table. We already announced the date during the Simple Session 20, 6th and 7th February 21, but and we haven't said it's not happening, but we are also I cannot say right now that it is happening.
Yeah.
So we still want to do the event in 2021, but we might change the concept and the date and the scale, and work more, do more as a TV event and less audience event. So we might not be able to have 5,000 people, but we might maybe have 500 people and do it in. We have some really cool other locations as well. So because there haven't been any events in the Saku Arena, in Estonia after our event, or maybe there was some, but from March onwards there haven't been. So because in there you still have to have the the restrictions of maybe 1,500, and then there's no point to do it in that big arena,
Yeah.
So I think right now we're still trying to push that the event would happen, and would happen in the same region in the time, maybe not the same date as we have it announced now, but in February, March, April timeframe. And still skateboarding and BMX, but what's exactly is going to happen, we try to have fixed in in September or maybe October, and let people know. But yeah, we're closely monitoring what's also happening with the coronavirus here and the rest of the world. We wanted to see I mean, they just did this rally event last week in Estonia, which was huge. So I think that went pretty well. I mean, I guess there's still not fully known if there was any infections, but I think there wasn't. But we will know in a couple of days. So we see how that went. Of course, that was an outdoor event, so it was a little bit easier in that sense. But there's a lot of like there was this just recently there was like 3 events happening in Germany, just like kind of a test events with 2,000 people, and they did. Do you know about it? They did,
I've heard.
One with people wearing masks, one without, and one different precautions. So they kind of did that and see and try to have more scientific data, what's actually works and what's not. So we're just kind of seeing what's happening and what kind of course when we would do event, we would do all the necessary precautions, but just so we would know what's possible and what makes sense, because right now there pretty much haven't been any I don't know about all the action sports, of course, but I mean, I guess mountain biking is still happening because it's outdoors and stuff like that. But
they're doing localized ones, I think, like Crankworks and stuff.
But in BMX and skateboarding, there hasn't been pretty much anything bigger happening since Simple Session. So I think we want to do something, to bring some normality back in the world, but in the same time we want to be safe with everything. So we'll see what we can do and let people know in as soon as possible.
Cool. And would you consider doing anything like any kind of virtual or like online sort of challenge competition stuff, sort of like what FIs are doing, or say X Games have kind of done in the past?
Yeah, we were thinking about it, but then X Games and or ESPN and FIS were doing it, so we thought like during the summer there wasn't really necessary for another one. But we might do it, but for now we aim to do it still something physical.
Cool.
But with not 200 athletes, less athletes, less people, but still when you watch it at home, then it's still it's good event. I know that like Battle of Hastings was going to happen around no, it was cancelled, but it was going to happen at around now or a few days ago. So I just want to talk with them, like why what made them cancel it. I think it was just hard. I think right now it's very hard with the travel. So you mean maybe you can do event only with riders from a few countries. But I think they're trying to do more and more, having better tests or flying people in more early so they can be in quarantine before the event or stuff like that. So we're monitoring all that and just figuring it out what we can do, and then in a few months, the latest, we want to announce what we can do.
Awesome. And you're pretty busy with other projects as well, right? I mean, you've got a bicycle week that you do, and you do a few other things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping pretty chill this year. because you can't do a lot of stuff, and also I
Yeah.
just took the time to really do my own personal stuff, read books and work out and do stuff like that. But yeah, I have a bike shop. We're running Tallinn Bicycle Week, which is like an urban. We actually we're gonna have a big anniversary there as well for 10 years, but it was in the middle of the coronavirus, so we kind of postponed it. But we just did like a night ride last week, which was also part of it. Yeah. So there's other projects. We been also working on a book about simple session, because we actually wanted to publish it for the 20-year anniversary, but it was just too much with the event and book, and we had a movie as well. So we want. It's not like it's mixed with also a photography book, not like a thick novel or something.
Okay.
But a mix of text and photos. So I think hopefully this will come out in the spring as well. So yeah, there's different stuff, but I usually try to keep it more chill in the summer, because summer is short here, and you wanna take the energy and just go out cycling and having fun and doing stuff. So I don't want to work crazy in the summertime anyway. So for
that's
me,
fair. That's fair enough.
For me, I mean, the virus, of course, is shitty that we have this situation, but just on a personal level, it's been okay because it's kind of put me in a slower pace, and just do stuff for my own benefit as well.
And how's it been with the bike shop? I mean, with everyone now suddenly getting into cycling more because of getting outdoors and with COVID-19. I mean, has there been a massive demand for people wanting to buy bikes?
For a period, I was less involved with the bike shop because I just was so busy with the simple session. But yeah, the demand is pretty high. The only like kind of a problem now is the supply, or like you can't. There's been like some problems with the supply chain. So if people want to order specific things, then usually took a week, and now it might take a month just to get the products to the shop. That's one of the problems, because I also heard we worked with Canyon bikes this year, and they said they like crazy busy, like everyone's ordering, but sometimes they can't have the product in time. But I think for the cycling world, it's pretty good, because everyone just want to go out and cycle. So in that sense, Estonia it's been kind of, I mean, I haven't really traveled like most others, but I heard it's pretty hardcore in the States or some Western Europe countries, that you couldn't even go outside sometimes, but in Estonia you could always go outside in the park or cycle or run or anything like that. So
that's good.
So even when the most hardcore restriction was, you could still go out and have a work out and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of people cycle for sure.
Cool, man. Good stuff. And what's the best way to follow what's going on? Either for simple session, or if people want to follow what you're up to personally.
So personally, maybe my Instagram, which is just my name, Risto Kalmre. Simple session also, I think. I mean, you have all the social channels, but most up-to-date stuff is on Instagram, I think. So
cool.
Pretty much all the social handles is simple session. So is it Facebook, Instagram, what else? TikTok, YouTube. So, but yeah, I think Instagram is the most up-to-date stuff when we announce new news.
Awesome. Cool, man. We'll be keeping an eye on what's going on, and hopefully when things can get back to a little bit more normality next year, and we can get the event on.
Yeah, hopefully. But I mean, even if it's not happening during those months, there's always going to be 2022 as well. But even like one other thing we've been considering is also to bring back the summer event. So
okay.
If it's really crazy still in March, we might do something in the summer. But in the summer it's a little bit crazy this year or next year because there's gonna be Olympics. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So everything is like a little bit shady right now, but we're working on, so something could happen. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me.
That's it.